So at this question here, we are being told that a police car travels towards a stationary observer at a speed of 15 meters per second. The siren on the car emits a sound of frequency 250 hertz. Calculate the observed frequency. Now at this point here, we need to look at what we call Doppler effect. Doppler effect, it says that the observed frequency is equal to, whereby we know so it is the frequency of the source times velocity over velocity minus the velocity of the source. So at this point here, frequency observed is always labeled as frequency FO. So frequency of the source we have here, it is this one, frequency of the source, that is siren on the car emits. Car here is the source, 250. Then velocity, it is always, we know, 340, frequency of the, that is the velocity of the sound. Then velocity, that is 340 minus the velocity of the source, 15. So observed frequency, it will be 250 times the velocity, which is now 340, the velocity of the air, over velocity, that is 340, minus the velocity of the source, that is 15. Now at this question here, what we need to do next is that we need to subtract. For us to subtract this one here, we know so well that 250, that is 250 times 340, 250 times 340, it will give us 85,000. Now we get 85,000 divided by, that is 340 minus 15. So at this point here we get 325. So when we divide 85,000 divided by 325, it will be 261.5. So the observed frequency here is equal to 261.5 hertz. That's the observed frequency. Now another thing now you need to know here is that when we are dealing with the Doppler effect, is that when you find that the observed frequency is greater than the source frequency, observed frequency is greater than the source frequency, then it means that the source frequency, it means that the source, it moves towards the observer. The source is moving towards the observer. But when you find out that the frequency, observed frequency is less than the source frequency, then it means that the source, it is moving away from the observer. Now for example, let us look at the frequency of the observer. Frequency of the observer here is 261.5, and frequency of the source is 250. Now when you find out that the frequency of the observer, the frequency of the observer is greater than the frequency of the source, it means that the source was moving towards the observer. The source was moving towards the observer. Now this one here, the vehicle was moving towards the observer. That's why you find out that the frequency of the observer here is greater than the frequency of the source. Okay, have a nice time and let us learn more about Doppler.